At Redocly, our mission is to help developers consume APIs with less handholding and support. One of the ways we help that is by clearly representing the API spec on the screen. So here we're looking at an API operation, create a payment instrument, and I will walk through this. My screen resolution is small for the video, so I am going to change this to change the layout to a stacked view so that the request, response, and examples are on top of each other. And then I'm going to zoom back to regular magnification, or this is about right for the video. So I want to showcase a few things that we do. However, don't worry, I'm not going to walk you through everything that's represented in the OpenAPI spec here. We have some content on our site that walks through how we visualize every aspect of the spec. So this here is an operation summary. We also see it in the sidebar. This is an operation description. This is the security. I can click to expand to see the security details in line or collapse it. I can do the same with the request and response. And this is the schema of the request. I chose this API because it has some complexity to it. So it's using any of, which is a type of polymorphism. That means there could be multiple types of objects sent as, in this case, the request. So as I click through these, we can see the body here, the schema changes. So back and forth. And we even support multiple levels of polymorphism. So here we're looking at bank accounts. There's a basic bank account and an international bank account. And there's some properties that are different within these. I'll also show you that we have support for nesting. So you can see this type of nesting here, which is quite convenient. When you have nested APIs, it's nice to be able to see this documentation in line. As you can see, we display very clearly the validation information. In this case, this is an integer from 1 to 48, and this is a language. It's less than or equal to 8 characters, and this is the screen width, and it's a number between 0 and 65,535. So this is information that's coming from the API definition, the schema definition. In this case, we show when properties are required. It's possible for you to list required properties at the top. We have dozens of feature flags to be able to control a lot of the behavior that you see on the screen, including having these things expanded by default, which in this example site, I have, not example site, this is a Reability's real website, but the one that I'm looking at, they expand the 200 series responses by default, and they don't expand the error responses. We can expand one just to see what it looks like and collapse it. We could also, if we want to, collapse this. And same type of thing, nesting. We have support for deep links. So let's say I was in here and trying to explain to someone about these HTTP headers, or more likely the IP address. I'm just guessing this IP address property appears dozens of times throughout this API, so it would be harder to search and find this specific instance. But with this link, you can deep link to anywhere and share this link with someone. So you could copy the link and share it with anyone, and that's great for collaboration scenarios or support scenarios. Moving on in these docs, let's go to another API that's got some interesting complexity to it. It uses a feature called the discriminator, which is a different type of polymorphism. We see this object change as we change this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the examples. So I'm going to do generated code samples in another video, so I won't touch on those here. But these examples are all coming from the API definition. So the better quality examples you put into your definition, the better quality examples will be in the docs. As I change examples here, we'll see the request and corresponding response samples change as well. So I'll change to international fees, and here we see international fees. So another nice feature of the docs. Covered in other videos will be the code samples, try it, search works across all of the docs. I'm in a developer portal right now, so it works across not just the API docs, but also the contextual docs, which will be covered in another video as well. That's a good overview. One of the other things that's supported is pagination. So if you have a big API like Redocly does here, you can't render it all on one screen without performance penalty. So being able to render it, we have 3 different options, all on one screen, which is better for shorter APIs, smaller APIs. The second option is every operation is on a page, which is how Redocly's site here is configured right now. And the other option is a section per page. And a section would be, for example, this is a tag in OpenAPI, fees. So this whole group here with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 operations would render on a single page with continuous scroll. One other thing that I didn't highlight, because we see here the common HTTP operations, but let's go ahead and take a look at something that has webhooks. So we have support for webhooks, and we render them similarly to how we render API regular API requests. Webhooks is like the reverse API, where your service is sending an API request to the consumer, back to the consumer for asynchronous communication. All right. And these things are all important because it helps developers consume APIs because they're clear about what's required, how to form requests, and what each property means.